Good morning. I am having my coffee this morning, and I put a little bit of cinnamon in it. So what I want to do this video about is I want to show what I have purchased for the week for food. Now, a lot of my food, I'm focused very strongly on the probiotics and the prebiotics in my food. And if you watch my previous video, I had done a video about the probiotic Akkermansia and the fact that the gut lining, the mucin in our lining, I take the pomegranate to help thicken that. So it kind of works in correlation with Akkermansia and the mucin in my stomach and the probiotics and the prebiotic. It's almost like a little ecosystem all on its own, okay? And so it's helping to keep or replenish my gut microbiome, and that's what this whole healing journey is about, being able to live the best life that I can live and stay as healthy as I can. So what I have done and what I'm going to do for this next week is I am going to eat as many probiotics as I can. And I'm going to check the fluctuation in my weight, check the health, how I'm feeling every day, if I'm feeling lethargic, if I'm feeling full of energy. So I'm going to make on almost kind of like a little journal, okay? So I have to excuse the mess, but you know, I have a tiny little place and I don't have a GoPro or any big fancy camera, so this is what you got. But yesterday, I'm a senior and I'm in Canada. And so seniors in Canada, they get their funding for the next month, for the month of January, they get it early. And so I was able to go over to the store, which I had been very, very tightly budgeted. And then, you know, the good Lord takes care of us when we need him, because I did have a gift that came to me that allowed me to buy extra groceries that I needed for the month and supplements. And omega-3s are on sale at Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada, well, where I am, for $17. And any other time, they're $29. So I was able to get the omega-3s, which is another supplement that I take for my heart health. And the vitamin K2/D3, that's another important element. So I got all my supplements. I'm able to have enough supplements for the month of January. And then I thought, okay, well, I'm spending a lot on supplements, so I'm going to try to get it from my foods, to get the vitamins and nutrients and the minerals from my food, which in Canada, as a senior, it's hard to do. Unless, of course, you have a garden and you have a green thumb, right? So, and I did that. I had a garden on my patio. And I mean, look back and see, and I had wonderful microgreens. I had lettuce, I had radishes, I had all those things on my patio. Like, you can't beat it. So let's get into the groceries that I bought the other day. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you about is pomegranate. Okay, so I bought pomegranate, and I was able to buy 4 of them. And I have done the pomegranate seeds for the past, well, I've eaten 2 pomegranates. So for the past 2 days, I have been doing the pomegranates. And I'm telling you, I was having a lot of stomach pains 2 days previous and a lot of stress headaches and things like that, right? But since I started the 2 days of pomegranate, and I eat a whole pomegranate, the whole thing. So I'm going to have to purchase some more because I only have 2 left. But the pomegranate helps with rebuilding the Akkermansia in my system. And the research that I've been doing, I found out that the studies that they have done in mice and in humans, they found that people that had high amounts of Akkermansia had lower instances of cancers and irritable bowel syndrome and all those type of things, diabetes. Okay, so Akkermansia is basically the bacterium that they have isolated from feces, human feces, and they have found that in studies that indeed having a high amount of Akkermansia in your system, okay, is good. It's good, and it helps to heal your gut microbiome and to make sure that it is working properly. So pomegranates, and I had never known how to open a pomegranate. I had never eaten it. I've never tasted it, and when I did, I absolutely love it. I love the texture. I love it's kind of crunchy, but it's got a really good taste to it. Kind of gives you a little zing, right? So, and they're organic. The ones that I bought apparently are organic. Now I don't know what organic is in Loblaws, right? So, okay, let's see what else. So, pomegranate. The benefits I get for pomegranate are because of the Akkermansia, which is a probiotic, okay? So next thing that I purchased is I purchased apple cider vinegar. Yeah, because apple cider vinegar is I mean, look it up. It's amazing for you. So apple cider vinegar is another one of the elements that I'm going to use. I'm going to put it in my salad. Like many things. I put it in salad dressing, kind of like you put the apple cider vinegar and then you put a little bit of sweet. Now, I don't put sugar. I don't use sugar. So what I'm been using is organic honey. A little bit of honey and a little bit of apple cider vinegar with, you know, the salt, the pepper, and the spices, and that's great for my salad. So that's been working for me. I don't want to get these mixed up. The big one. Now, I had gone over to the store and I was looking for kefir. Okay, I take kefir. So this one, I don't really like the taste of this one. This one's very, very salty. Sorry, PC, but it is. It's very, very salty. So what I've chosen to do, because this was on sale for $5.99, and normally the one I get, I'm going to show you the one I got, I have the sticker off of the bottom. I'll show you. So this is the one I normally buy, and this is the one I purchased. Now this one here, the meadow, right, the organic meadow, it's not as salty as this one. But I checked the ingredients, and it might have been just that I had a bad batch because they don't have any more sodium than the other, right? So they're basically equal, just one. The PC one is cheaper. So I purchased one Kefir. And then, because I'm going through so much of it, I drink maybe an 8-ounce bottle. So I drink a bottle like this, right, through a straw. I drink one of those a day of kefir, one in the morning and one at night. I should say two. So I was going through it really fast, and I thought, there's got to be some way that I can still get those benefits. But then I was reading up, and I found out that there is something that has another probiotic in it, another strain of probiotic that would possibly benefit my gut health. And I went into the store, and sure enough, and I haven't tasted this since I was a little girl. My mom used to drink it. Like, I don't know where mom got the information from, because we're talking like back in the 60s, and she knew all this stuff. So, you know, kind of makes you wonder, right? Kind of makes you wonder. But I went and I purchased buttermilk. Now, I don't know if you've ever tasted buttermilk. It's got a consistency like eggnog, but it's a very sour, it's like spoiled milk basically. So anything that is fermented, or, you know, on that kind of like spoiled edge, right, has got an amazing amount of probiotics in it. So I took an empty bottle that I had from the Kefir, and I have a lot of them. And what I did is I put half of the kefir in, and then I put the other half with the buttermilk. And that's going to kind of give me as many probiotics as I can get from the kefir and from the buttermilk combined, right? So, and it will continue to ferment. So I put it in the fridge, but when I want to drink it, I take it out. I take it out and I sit it on the counter for, you know, a couple of minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and get it warm, a little bit warm. So it kind of kickstarts that, activates that probiotic type of thing, right? I mean, that's just my little belief system. So, I mean, anything that you put in the fridge, if you put it in the fridge, it basically stops it from deteriorating. And I want to kickstart that process. So I put it on the cupboard, whether it be true or whether it not. It could just be something I like to do. Anyhow, so I put it in here, I mix the two together, and then what I do is I put it in my bottle with about a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, cinnamon is a prebiotic. It actually feeds the probiotic. It will feed the Lactobacillus, Lactobacillus ramos, all those type of probiotics in the kefir, the cinnamon will feed them, so kind of kickstart them. It's almost like giving a probiotic that shot, giving it, it's activating it, right? So I put the cinnamon in, then I pour in the kefir, I pour it in, I mix it up, and I drink it through a straw because it tastes like crap. But now I'm finding out that, I kind of knew this all along. I just never paid attention to it. So I was taking a dental probiotic for my gingivitis and my periodontal disease, right? I was taking a dental supplement, but they're very expensive. So I thought, what am I doing? I can get Lactobacillus ramos in my kefir, right? I can get it in there, but it's not getting to my teeth because I'm drinking through a straw. So what I've been doing is I've been like not using the straw and letting it actually get onto my teeth, because that's where the probiotic is, right? It's the same thing. Now, the reason that I buy kefir is because kefir is the only probiotic that I know, that I've researched, that actually gets through the stomach acids and makes it to where it needs to go. And I know this is working because I no longer have leaky gut. My household is the cheapest household for toilet paper. You don't even really need it. You know what I mean? So I know when my gut microbiome is back in shape and that it's replenished itself and that it's healthy, because I don't have a smear. I don't have a smear. It's a horrible thing to say, to kind of put on YouTube, but listen, it's the truth. It is the God's honest truth. It is whatever you define this. It is the truth. You will note a difference when you go to the bathroom. Your plumbing's going to be working, and you're not going to have a smear. You're not going to have stomach problems, okay? Now, the big thing is people who have had, and I've researched this, people who have had cancers, and they have had chemo and radiation therapy, okay? And that has killed the cancers. And I did a video about that. I don't want to get into it because I'm steering off, and I can talk, trust me. So the kefir, actually, people who have gone through chemo or radiation therapy should be drinking kefir, because it will help replenish those gut microbiome that were killed by the apoptosis created by the radiation, or created by the chemotherapy that you had been in, right? So, and it's really, really important. Another thing that I have, and I have in the cupboard, so I'm going to have to move all this. The things I do for you people. The things I do for you people. Okay, so I have an amalgam filling in the back, and I'm not able to afford to get it taken out. And that metal that's in the amalgam filling will seep into your body. It literally poisons you, okay? So I went out and I looked to see what I can take to get rid of the heavy metals in that amalgam filling that have been leaked into my system, right? So I found a thing called moringa, and also moringa and oregano. Okay, so oregano is a spice. It's a spice that we all have in our cupboards, and I'm not going to pull mine out, but that's one of the spices that I make sure that I have a lot of, and I use a lot of it in my salads, in my cooking, a lot of oregano, because oregano and the moringa, okay, will literally bind with the heavy metals and help your body to flush them out. And I put a video on about that. So moringa, and this one has got oregano. It's spices. It's all spices. It's also got bok choy that I actually grew on my patio garden, and I have dehydrated and crushed into a spice. So I put this on my salads. I put it on my meats when I'm cooking my meats, right? So this is a supplement, and I take this. I don't take it all the time. I take it every 2 days, right? So, and I'm running out of it. That's why. But so that's another thing that I do. Then, because I have heart problems, and because I don't want to take aspirin, right? Aspirin eats your stomach lining. I don't want to do it. It's an acidy type of thing. It works great. It works fast for making sure that your blood is thin so you don't stroke, right? And that's where my problems are. However, I also found out by my research that cayenne pepper, or powder, also works in the same way. So what I do is I keep some cayenne pepper on a plate on my stove. And whenever I start to feel, if I do, and I was in the past couple of weeks, I've been feeling that numbness in the top of my lip, and that's the precursor to a stroke. And so whenever I feel kind of odd there, I have an odd feeling there, I stick my finger, wet my finger, put it in the cayenne pepper, and I stick it in my mouth. I stick it in my mouth, and you know what? The feeling goes away. So it works for me. It's just, maybe it's an old wives' tale, but this is all the stuff that works for me, right? So cayenne pepper. So that's another thing that I keep a stockpile of. And I keep it in a glass jar. All my food is in a glass jar. Okay, so we got the kefir, we got the buttermilk. Another thing that is a blood cleanser that I purchase a lot of, and I do have real garlic. I have whole garlic in my fridge, okay, in my crisper, and I keep it in a brown paper bag so that it doesn't get oxidation and it doesn't lose that zing, right? But I also have garlic powder, and I use this in all my cooking. I use it when I cook eggs. I use it when I cook meat. I even put it in my salad along with red chili pepper flakes. So that's another thing. Another thing that works as a detoxifier for your body, for your blood, okay, is turmeric. And I do buy powdered turmeric because it's cheaper this way. And I don't really like to chew the turmeric in the root. I like the powder a lot better. And so I use turmeric. I do golden turmeric. I did delete my video that I made from my very first channel. And what I do is I mix, and that's how I had shown how I take the turmeric. And at that point in time, 2 years ago, I had long, dark hair. I mean, part of it was real and part of it was dyed, right? So I had dark hair, and now look at me, I'm totally different. I have detoxified. I no longer have hair dye. I still do the makeup, and we will talk about that, but so turmeric is another one. I had made the video where I had showed how to do it, and I mean, maybe you've been on my channel a while, maybe you remember it, but how I do it is I mix honey with the turmeric, and I literally, I take it by the spoonfuls with the honey, the turmeric, and the pepper. Pepper is very important because pepper opens up the cells and lets your body absorb what it needs to absorb, the nutrient curcumin from the turmeric, right? So pepper, turmeric, and honey, and I mix it together, or I would put a little bit in a cup with hot water and have it as a tea. So that's just another one. Then I have the good old ginger root, and I chew this religiously every day. I cut a coin off and I chew it. I get fiber from it. It also detoxifies, and it is also I use it as a prebiotic because it literally kickstarts that process in my gut, right? So ginger. And I also have the spice. What else do I have? Oh, speaking of fermented foods, right? So I went on this fermented food kick, and you've seen some of the things with the kefir and the buttermilk. But this is my fave. 2% cottage cheese. Now, you can get the 14%, but this was cheaper. So I bought this one, and I love it. I love it. And what I did yesterday is I mixed it with well, I didn't mix it with, but I had it at the same time that I had the pomegranate. And you know what? It's a really good taste. You could almost make a salad with the cottage cheese and the pomegranate seed. So it was good. So this is another fermented food that I use. Then I had a craving. I had a craving for cheese. Cheese can be fermented, but then it can also be like full of all sorts of bad things for you, right? But I found a cheese that is fermented, and it is old cheese, right? And it was on sale. I could get one block of cheese for $4.69, whereas normally I would pay $6. So I bought 2 of them, and I bought the Old Fort cheese. Another food that's fermented. Okay, what else do I have here? Okay, and this is my fave. This is my fave. I am a sauerkraut girl. So I went over and I purchased a bottle of sauerkraut because I'm on this probiotic, prebiotic kick, right? So this is another food that I'm going to keep stock of. And, I cook this up with my eggs in the morning. I'm on one meal a day, so I don't eat till 2 o'clock. But I can have eggs for supper, and I'll have eggs, 2 eggs, and I'll have some sauerkraut that I've, kind of fried in that olive oil, and it gives it a little bit of a crisper, a better taste. It gives a bit more taste. So I'll mix that and have that with my eggs, with perhaps a side of meat, right? So it works. All these things, like this is no word of a lie. Everything that I have showed you here, I learned this from my mom way back in the days, way back in the days. My mom's been, she's been gone now for a number of years, but I'm remembering a lot of things from my childhood, and I'm remembering the buttermilk, and I'm remembering, I mean, I had no idea about kefir back then, but my mother drank a lot of buttermilk and apple cider vinegar. I had an aunt that made pickles, and so pickles is another one. Pickles is another food that is kept in that fermentation type of process, right? I had an aunt who had made dill pickles, and she made it in the big not cast iron, what do they call it, the big white, can't think of the name. It's like a big tub with a lid on it, but it's massive, and she used to keep it in the shed or in the cupboard or wherever, she kept it away, and she would keep those cucumbers from her own garden in the vinegar, right, and the spices and all that, and oak leaves. She put oak leaves in it. So we ate a lot of that type of stuff, and I'm thinking, I never got sick when I was a kid. Never. Never got sick. The only problem I had is that I would get weak. I would like pass out when my mom was brushing my hair, that type of thing, right? So, but there was other reasons for that. It had nothing to do with my health. It had to do more with the circumstances that I lived through at that point in time. So the next thing that I absolutely got from my mom, the taste and the craving for this, is sardines. Yeah, sardines. So I have to keep track, so I have marked on here 3 sardines because I have 3 in stock, so I have to replenish it. So that's just kind of like a reminder to me to get some more. But I have sardines, and I love them. I love the sardines. I don't like the ones that are packed in the sugars and things, but the ones that are packed in olive oil, I'm okay with, and I love them. I can eat them just like that, or you could, I make my own gluten-free crackers, and crush them up and put them on the gluten-free crackers, and that's a perfect snack for the evening. Instead of pulling out that bag of chips that's gonna, raise your blood pressure, have some sardines on a gluten-free cracker. So the last thing that I'm going to show you is, and this has been a bit of a long video, I wanted it to be short, but it isn't, whatever. Anyway, the last thing that I'm going to show you is I have bought bags of chickpeas, and I eat a lot of chickpeas, and normally I get it, let's see if I can find one here. Yeah, so normally I get it in the can. I buy it in the can, okay, but I thought, what, that can be a little expensive, so I purchased the raw ones. And what I do is, you have to, if you're going to cook anything that is a bean or a pea, anything that has a hard shell to it, okay, you need to soak it. Kidney beans, black beans, chickpeas, anything. You need to soak it overnight, and I usually soak it like overnight. I soak it for maybe 12 to 14 hours, then I will rinse it, and then I will boil it, right? So I kind of do that 2-step process. But I also have a steamer. A rice steamer, rice cooker, and cooking the beans in a high temperature heat where there's moisture is better than cooking them where there's a dry heat, and that helps moreover to get rid of the lectins that cause leaky gut, because lectins will bind with proteins and literally burn a hole through your stomach lining, okay? So you need to get rid of those lectins, and making sure that you are soaking them prior to eating them is very, very important. But then also cooking on a very high heat, where you would get in a rice steamer, in a rice cooker, okay, that high heat, but there's moisture, and you want that moisture to kind of like get into the bean or whatever it is that you're cooking. You want it to help to cook that food to get rid of those lectins. So that's just another thing. And I make my own tahini, which is kind of like a dip, or not tahini. I make my own dip, okay? Hummus. I make my own hummus, not tahini. I make my own hummus, and I don't buy tahini. It's very, very expensive, and I don't have any. So I've been going without, and I have a recipe posted of how you can use it. So I do keep a lot of chickpeas because I like that. I like to have hummus to put on gluten-free crackers. Sometimes I just put it on vegetables like celery or carrots. You know, if I'm having a snack, I'll take a little dish of hummus with some vegetables, and that works for me. So these are all things that I keep in my pantry, that I keep in my fridge, that I keep stocked up on. I also, and I have run out, I keep a couple other things that I haven't put on here because I've ran out of them. So extra virgin olive oil. I'm in Canada, so I do buy mine from Giant Tiger because it's the cheapest there. Anywhere else, we're talking like Loblaws. I think it's Loblaws. It's like 20 some dollars for a thing of, I'll show you. I do save all my bottles. I wash them, I take all the, and then I bought an engraver to engrave like oil or whatever, flowers or whatever, right, to make a picture on it. But I have a lot of these. And the reason I keep them is because you never know. Someday I'm going to need to store something, and I don't want to be storing it in plastics. I'm trying to eliminate the plastics out of my life. So this is the bottle of olive oil that I normally buy. I did run out. The olive oil that I buy is extra virgin olive oil. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I try not to use, well, I really don't use, like I don't use certain products that are the butters that they put extra things into, right? So, you know, preservatives and things like that. So I try not to use that. I do, however, like my organic grass-fed cow the butter that you can purchase, and they have it at the store. Mind you, it's pretty expensive. So I do go through maybe 1 of those pounds of that type of organic butter a month. At least I try to kind of limit it because it's expensive. Not because it's not good for me, but because it's expensive. I did do a video about the meat that I purchased. I purchased chicken and hamburger products from, I'm in Canada, so a place called Giant Tiger where I can get, it's kind of like the leftover chicken, right, that they ground up and they put in those tubes. And so I purchased that. That's how I get my protein. So these are just some of the things that I purchased that I'm able to survive month to month. And you know what? I don't think it's hurting me. I don't think it's hurting me. I'm feeling a lot better. I have, however, I haven't gone for my walk for almost a week now. And the reason why was, 1, because I was attacked on one of my walks, that I had gone for a walk. And for 2, because someone stole my winter coat. So I have had to use a bomber type jacket, like a shorter jacket, because I can't afford to buy another coat. And so someone did steal my coat and they replaced it with their coat. Like, can you believe that? Like, how low life is that? Anyhow, the reason I bought the longer coat that was stolen was so that it would keep my back and my legs warm as I was walking, because I walk 8 kilometers, right? So someone stole it. I hope they have a wonderful Christmas, if you get my meaning. You get my drift? Yeah. Anyhow, so I haven't gone for my walk because it's been very, very cold, and it's a dry cold, so it kind of gets right to the bones. And so I need to have a longer coat for that. But I am going to start, I'm going to kick that up again. I'm going to start walking again, hopefully, as we move into the month of January. So this is just to show you some of the things that you can purchase that are going to help replenish your gut microbiome and to keep your diet on track. So I shall see you in the next video. The good Lord be willing. Bye.